Alright, here we go again. Wounded Waters Bleeding against Scotland 6 this time around. I'm not especially used to playing the Scotland matchup on Serene, so we'll see how it goes. Hopefully everything will be perfect. And that starts with the first Explorer, I suppose. That's jungle. That is probably perfect. I have these markers here to remind me to explore with towns and other stuff. That is easy to forget against Scotland. Alright, let's gain a miner as always. Looking to be an excellent game. I mean, if I were playing Serene, then this would be a choice between Blood Wars, Predators, and Sap the Strength of Multitudes, but I mean we're water, so it's not a choice. There's one clear best card here and we're going to play it. Alright, good start to the game. And then, between those two lands, land 4 kinda clears itself. It will probably kill Atahan, but I mean, nothing to be done about that, right? We are killing this explorer here and hope that we don't explore wetlands. Every other explorer we can actually prevent the building slow. That must be the correct play, right? I tend to like playing Boon of Corrupted Blood turn 1. For one, there is usually a build that can be prevented against most adversaries. Second of all, playing it early means that you don't have it around turn 4 or 5. More like 3 or 4. And that instead you have water cards around. So if you draft bad cards and are forced to play something that has anima, you don't get into the situation where you have both Boon of Corrupted Blood and a second all anima card in hand, right? Your other cards will have water. So, search for new lands, we ignore. We don't ravage because it's turn 1. We build in land 8. We explore mountain. I'm okay with that. So, there's basically only one choice here, I believe, and that is use Sanguinary Taint, 1 fear, kill that, push it here maybe. So if you push it here, it clears the land entirely, also the Explorer. But it's so far and away from everything that I think I'd rather push it into land 5 here. So the Explorer lives. I mean, we're going to get lucky and draw the Hand Defend anyway, right? Gain a miner. 3 miners with water. This would have been a good card too. In theory, you can play it here. Because you played Boon of Corrupted Blood now, you could play this turn 4 and would not lose out on any innates. This is kinda okay. I don't really get anything from the Badlands, but the wilds can be really nice against Scotland because it prevents a town. This can be nice generally. And I could use it this turn to ensure land 6 works. Just play Encompassing Water myself. Could do the same with Roiling Bog and Snagging Thorn. Would isolate it, would defend, but the Explorer would survive. Would cost 0 though and had better elements. So it's between Roiling Bog, I think, and Encompassing Ward. Both of them solve land 8. I like that this has plant and is a 0 cost. I don't like that it requires a sacred site and that it leaves an explorer in the land. The next level play, of course, is to isolate it next turn. Wait, give me a second. If I isolate it this turn, then I prevent the after hours town spawning, right? Yeah, that seems correct. So we played this card. We move 1 presence. We need to move back again. have a sacred site adjacent to land 8, so we are moving this into here, I suppose. I would like to start placing presences in coast, because we know that coast is going to come up, right? But we need to be in land 8 due to the sacred site requirement. Alright, and then that is quick. I add a fear, I add an isolate, I add defend 2. And maybe we find that the event is the defend anyway and it's all a waste. But it's not a waste, right? It still prevents the town from respawning. Alright, let's event. Seeking the interior. This just does not apply. Wait, I'm in local diaspora. Diaspora? I don't know. Anyway, I have to push out of here a town, right? And the land with the most invaders is land 2. And I have to push a town, and I'll push it into land 4. I'd rather not. Land 1? That seems dangerous. I wish I wouldn't have to push it, but I guess I'm pushing it into here. It's not quite enough. If I was thinking, if we push it into here and sand comes up, then there's going to be 2 towns, and then there's going to be a city. Maybe we can just defend that. But Scepter Strength of Multitudes, while defending for 5, which is a large, does not defend against 2 towns in a city. But the same issue we'll have in land 1 as well. And that would be a more lopsided Explorer, right? Do that and Wetlands will be a terrible Explorer. Do that and Wetlands will be mediocre, as will be Sands. I prefer that. Alright, local Diaspora is done. Beast Prowl. Yeah, I love these kind of events, but in this game, it's too early. Why do I want to move it? Maybe coastal. No, probably not coastal. Into lands where I can hope that it eats the town. Sorry, the explorer, I guess. And we only have explorers inland, so it should stay inland. Forsake the barren land. On each board, push the hand from a land with blight to a land without blight. Well, I don't have any Dahan in lands with blight, so there's no fear card. There is my Ravage. Only one of my Dahan participates, so it only kills the town. But while land 4 gets the... What is it? Sweden 6 town, land 8 does not. Because I'll choose that for the land to have no adjacent buildings. Then we build in land 2, but I mean, remove the disease, I guess. And then nothing happens in land 7. And we explore into jungle. Well, we don't explore into here because it's isolated, right? But we still have to add the escalation town to any land without town, right? So let's choose land 5 for that. Let's just... Scotland is not really pocketable for most spirits. If you have a lot of isolate and push, like maybe if you're Finder, you can probably do it, but I'm not Finder, so I cannot do it. So, Sweat and Spill, use that on land 8 probably, right? Get the Dahan into position to help out on the rest of the board, prevent the build. And here I guess we'll just accept the city. It's not like we can do much about it right now anyway. Alright, so I push out the Explorer. Push out that Dahan. Maybe push them both into here, so he dies, right? It's a little bit vulnerable to a blast damage event, but I think it's generally speaking a good play. So here's something else I could be doing. It's not good enough though, right? Like I could push these 2 into land 2 and then defend with Scepter Strength of Multitudes. But it wouldn't clear the cities, it would kill 1 city, and that would be good. But I don't think killing 1 city is worth it here. If it killed 2 cities, I did it. I would do it in a heartbeat. Yeah, I also don't have any quick Dahan movement or anything. So let's just keep it at that. time passes. I think pretty happy with that turn, how it went. Let's see if I'm also happy with the cards. See, it had to happen eventually, right? We see a draft without water. Good that we played that card already. So which of these do we want? We probably want the animal card because it can contribute 2 elements on turn 4, which this cannot do at all. And there's a couple of rare cards here. This isn't the card that I had hoped for. I always keep confusing this with Pact of the Joint Hand, and Pact of the Joint Hand would be nicer, but you know. Bird's Cry Warning would be terrific if we could have Dahan in there and then just play Bird's Cry Warning would be great. But we can't. We could try the same with land 4. But I think I'm just going Gold Solar. It's a 0-cost card. How can you argue with that? I cannot. So we gain an energy. We probably don't need sap here. We could defend that, but I don't really see the point. I'd rather focus on getting land 4 solved. I would like to play 2 cards that have, what do you say, animal and water, as it maximizes my elements over this in the coming turn. And that just seems like a good line of play anyway. We're deciding in slow whether or not we are wanting to use the NE for water or animal. The only thing I still need to decide before we execute quick is, do I want to gather a blight and do I want to move one of my presences? I'm pretty sure I want to move this presence into here. Makes it easier to deal with that land if it should come up. And do I want to gather a blight? I think the answer is no. I like where it is. Yeah. So let's event. Relentless Optimism. I don't get Fear for Destroying. I usually hate that, but you know, with Serene it's kind of okay, especially in a turn in which you don't get any Dahan counterattack damage. Foreign Diseases. On each board in the land with the most combined invaders and Dahan, minimum 1 of each, add a disease and 2 damage to Dahan. 3. I think is the highest number. Well, losing 1 Dahan is fine. My Dahan factory comes online turn 5, right? And I think my Dahan are spread out enough that I can manufacture Dahan in every land on the board. Offerings of Pattern and Dance. Each spirit with at least 2 Dahan among their lands gains 1 energy. I still qualify. I should consider maybe trying to extend my play, but I don't think I can. We'll see. We'll talk about that later. What I'm thinking is that next turn I would usually, instead of gaining a card, I would take 3 energy. And part of the reason is that if you draft a lot of 1-cost cards, you need that energy to get you through the reclaim. But I am swimming in energy, so maybe I can just draft a card instead. I'm not sure if it's going to prolong my reclaim cycle, only if it has perfect elements, I guess. But we can try, right? Alright, so we ravage. We ravage in land 2. 2 blight. Ouch, but I mean okay. Land 7, the explorer dies. Then we spawn a town here, because this turn is not isolated. Then we build that city in land 4. And that was it for... Okay. Not exactly how I intended that to go, but whatever. Flip it and add sand. Alright, so we get a second town here. We get an explorer here. Maybe our worst explorer, who knows, maybe not. And we get another town for de-escalation. which has to go into either land 8 or land 1, and I think I'd rather have it be in land 1 for now. Actually, it could be in land 2 as well. I think I preferred that, right? It has to go in the land with the fewest towns, right? And that land has cities but no towns, so I guess we're doing that. I assume if it comes up, it can still be solved. I'm not 100% sure, but pretty sure, honestly. I mean, we do have, like, defend 5 cards, so surely it will be alright. Then is my slow, and this is where I'm really happy to play 2 water plus animal cards. I can, for example, just clear out this entire land and push it into land 4. Oh, I should actually. We've healed Serene this turn. I keep forgetting that, but it's just a minor reminder. So, is there any point in going Sanguinary Taint or level 2 over Swell and Spill level 2? And I don't think so. I'm going to Swell and Spill out of land 3. Into land 4 maybe? Maybe like this. So that is 1 town into here, 1 town into there, and then 1 Dahan into land 4. That Dahan, right, the town we put into here we downgrade. And then the Dahan we pull into there, we downgrades the city. It almost solves itself. I should set up something with strap the strength. We'll see. And then I would like to push these two with Wreck with Pain and Grief. Push him into here, push him into here, I guess. And then I would like to use Sanguinary Taint on land 1. Kill that Explorer, push that Dahan into here. Downgrade that. And this now is 6 damage against defend 5. Before I even draw to the Water's Edge, right? So that should be fine. And I still have Blood, Water, and Bloodlust open. So land 5 is not going to build. Land 3 is not going to build because it's already deceased. And if it builds, it's because we disease skip. Adding a second disease doesn't do anything there. I guess aside from like shifting outbreaks, but... So I think we're using it on land 2. Alright. That is my slow. And here is where I could, if I wanted to, draft a card. I'm also going to forget Boon of Corrupted Blood now, I think. I would rather get my presences on the board. So maybe I go into here. Into land 2. It's always good being in your problem lands, right? Especially if they're not like urgently ravaging. We defend land 4 for 5. Not sure about Draw to the Water's Edge, not sure about Gold's Allure. I cannot use Draw to the Water's Edge to prevent the town here, because there's 2 towns and I can draw one of them with Draw to the Water's Edge, but not both. I could draft a miner, and if I draft anything that hits water, then I have a very strong turn still. And then next turn I could try the same. I would have to bank on not drawing 0 water for 2 turns. I'll try that. Well, there is 0 water for the first turn. Well, better this turn than next turn, right? Out of these, Fire in the Sky is just a good card, as is Drift Down. Drift Down is not immediately relevant. Because, I mean, well, it might actually be. But I will not play it anytime soon, so... Whatever, just play one of the cards that has... Let's play Enticing Splendor. It has 2 elements that can be useful if I'm ever forced to play it. It costs 0, it downgrades. Drift Town would have been good too, but this has better elements, and I'm probably not going to play the card anyway. And then we play this for, again, great elements, great innates. This turn as well. So, set the strength already done here, draw to the water's edge. So what do I want to do? I cannot gather any more towns into here. I could gather town into there, downgrading it into an explorer, and then this would be more defended. Would be empty in essence. Alternatively, I could do something like this, and I think I'll do that instead. I don't think there's a chance that I get to push this out, but maybe the fear card downgrades it, and then this would not, then land 8 would not spawn a town. I don't think I want to move my Blight, do I? I guess I move it into here. I guess if any Blight, then this Blight should be moved, right? In case we draw plus damage here. So let's do that. Let's flip the event. We are healthy. Wounded lands attract explorers. Add 1 explorer to a land with Blight. I can do that. It doesn't add damage? Oh no, not here. Not here. Wait, this doesn't have Blight anyway. Can I choose the ocean? I guess not, huh? Land 2 is already large enough. Let's take land 2 anyway. I think so. If I do it into land 6, then it becomes too large to clean out with 1 swell and spill, right? I guess it's fine to do that. Yeah. It will be at 3 explorers, so I cannot clear it out with 1 swell and spill. Since swell and spill can at most move. Yeah, let's do it here for that reason. There's a bit more going on there, but going into too much detail here, probably not that helpful. Beast chase off the homesteaders. Push up to 2 explorers or 1 town from a land with beasts. Could push these 2 out of here and into there if I wanted to. I mean, I don't hate it, I guess. This land is just going to be huge. But I think I can just defend it. Next turn I will have at least defend 8 if I need it. And I'm not even gonna need any defend next turn. So yeah, let's just let that land clear itself. And then raiding into retaliation. 1 damage per Tahan, then each surviving building deals 1 damage to Tahan. Okay, under these circumstances I would like to not push these. Because what happens now is that these Tahan do damage to that, and now it still clears the land and also kills the explorers. And I guess this town does counterattack damage, but it's caught by the defend. I guess what this means is that I want to use Beast chase of homesteaders to push this town into here. That seems better, right? Yeah. Alright. That was everything. Strictly speaking, I did like healthy island, then raiding in retaliation, then beast chase off, but I mean, remove 1 from a land matching a ravage card. I like that. I would like to remove that. Extra Dahan defend, which I don't need, but I'm nevertheless happy about. Kill those. And then we spawn towns, sadly. There's just a couple of buildings on the board. We basically added like plus 30% new buildings. So that was the town spawning rule. Then we don't build. We don't build here due to the disease. We don't build here due to the land being empty. And then we explore. Mountain sands. I think that is fine. It's gonna be annoying here with the, ravage into spawner town into immediately build, but there's a world in which I play Roiling Bog and Snagging Thorn next turn. And if that happens, then the whole thing is not a problem. Also, that strategy is diffused by defend, which I have. Okay, then there's Gold's Allure. I mean, there's no question here, right? I add a strife to here, and I gather this town, downgrading it into an explorer. And then I also gather an explorer, so let's gather this explorer. So that kind of solves land 3. And then I still have Sanguinary Taint and Silent Spell. Let's use Sanguinary Taint. Kill that explorer, push the Dahan. Push into here, let's say. Downgrade that. I'm thinking that we can get land 5 completely, like we can remove all adjacent buildings. And then use Violent Spell. I wish I... Okay. Let's... I see a better play here. This was the state of the board. End of the fear pool. And instead of using Sanguinary Taint on land 5, let's use it on land 7, kill that explorer, push that into here, also downgrade, also add a fear. And now we can use Silent Spell on land 4, 1 fear, push this into land 2 and downgrade it, push this into land 5 and downgrade it, push this into land 2 and no downgrades. And I still have 1 push for Presence or Beast, which I guess I'm fine with where everything is at. But the upside of this is, of course, that this build is also prevented at the cost of 1 downgrade going to an explorer instead of a building, but I'm fine with that. Alright. Yeah, with drafting Enticing Splendor last turn we reclaim here. If I wanted to go for a major, I could. I have a card that I could forget. But I'm thinking just going minus here probably works. Now let's draft that major. I have enough energy. How do I have so much energy? How many 0 cost did I play? A bunch, huh? Very funny. So that means if at turn 1 we had played Unrelenting Growth, we would have just won the game. I mean, it's probably not necessary, but I'm going to play it for the memes, right? It's too late and I don't need it, but I mean, it has perfect elements, so it must be good, right? It doesn't change anything about the outcome of the game. If anything, this is not actually all that great a major here. But who cares? It's a fun major for sure. So what do I need this turn? This land will not ravage because it's empty, and it will also not spawn a town because it has no adjacent buildings. There's the line of play in which I play Draw to the Water's Edge here, just to get that town into here and isolate the inland completely. I don't think I hate it. Oh, huh, I don't have enough Dahan adjacent to that. So maybe I don't do it? Yeah, that is a misplay on my part. With regard, last turn I had enough Dahan movement to ensure that there was a Dahan adjacent to land 2. But I did not pay attention to it, and now I cannot use Water's Renew to replace the city with a Dahan. No? So they don't build, they do build. And there's not really anything I can do about that. If I had quick Dahan movement, I could. But I chose to draft Gold's Allure instead of quick Dahan movement earlier. Also, I could not play Gold's Allure and still have Water's Renew. That'll be fine, right? Just play something like that, maybe. Discard for the animal, and because I need a not berry, like I don't need any especially powerful card here, and that is a card that is playing for the next turn. Which seems exactly correct. So that was, what is it? Draw to the water's edge, and then what is renew? I kind of need to do something with that maybe. Gather into here, downgrade that, replace that. Feels kind of awkward, but as long as in slow I ensure that something gets close to there, it'll be fine, right? I'll also add the beast, which I tend to forget, but which is actually kind of important for certain events. Alright, that is my quick event, Hardworking Settlers. I could add a town and then ravage in a land that's irrelevant. I would not hate that. Or I could remove cards, which I would rather not do. And I could skip a ravage, which I don't care about. So I take topside, push up to Tutahan. Oh yes. Perfect. Maybe push them like this. Then add a town to land without a town. Which one do I want? Probably land 3, right? It builds a city here. Is that bad? Actually, I know that what I was thinking, if I added in land 1, then land 5 is no longer pocketed as is land 6, but that is not a problem because we draw coastal. Could also add it here for the same reason, right? We draw coastal anyway, so it's not like being pocketed helps us very much this turn. Alright, and then I should remember that, yeah, they ravage in land 3 and nothing happens, and my beast counters badlands for the rest of the turn, which we'll see if that is relevant. And this is irrelevant, sadly, because I'm still terror level 1, and I don't have any double Dahan stacks in coastal. Alright, then we ravage in land 3, nothing happens. We ravage in land 5. Oh, shoot, if I add it here, then that will actually, I need to add it there, right? Need to add it in land 8 for that to not spawn a town. So let's add the town in land 8. And then land 5 does not add a town because there's no adjacent buildings. And then they build, in land 3 they build because we have adjacent cities in land 2. In land 2 they don't build, and they don't build in the other lands either. And then we explore coastal. And yeah. Maybe something like this and this and this. I'm not actually playing Wreck with Pain and Grief this turn. Maybe something like this instead? Who knows? I think we just start with Unrelenting Growth, right? I mean, this must be correct, right? Just play Unrelenting Growth one more time for the memes. Can I afford it? The answer is clearly. Sure. Just play 2 turns of Unrelenting Growth. I mean, it's not like these are our power turns where we're supposed to win the game, but surely we are strong enough that we can meme and still win, right? Then Bloodwater and Bloodlust. Use that here maybe. Land is solved then. And then land 3 and land 2. Use Violence Spell. 1 Fear. Push both into here, downgrading 1 into an Explorer. I'm not sure if I'm supposed to do that. I mean, that's just giving up on that land, which... How much damage are they actually doing? This is 8 damage, this is another 5 damage, this is another 8 damage. They're doing 16 damage. I have defend 8 and I can replace 3 more damage. So I'm kind of half defend 11. It's 16 damage. If I push these 2 into here, which I can do as well, then this is only, what is it? 3, 4, 7 plus 6 is 13 damage, which defend 11 basically is defense. I need to play Royal Ring, but that is fine. I play this, and that defense. Also play 4 cards anyway, right? I think that is fine. It's kind of annoying to have this card to spawn towns here, maybe. Maybe I don't do that. Maybe I just let this land blight and be like, I don't want to spawn towns here. Maybe that's correct. I'm not sure. On the other side, I feel you're supposed to defend that and destroy so much stuff. So what if they add a couple of towns here? Is it annoying? Yeah. Can we deal with it? Probably yeah too. So let's just do that. And I did add the fear. I could push the presence in there, but I think I'd rather not. Time passes. I open this spot here, I'm thinking. And take the +3 energy growth, which allows me to reclaim this, play that, play that, play that, for all of my innates, and still affordable due to having drafted so many 0 costs. I need a sacred site adjacent to the land that I want to use it on, that is land 2, so I just need a sacred site adjacent to land 2. I get to place 2 presents, 1 in here and 1 in here maybe. And then I sap in land 2 for defend 5. I use Swell and Spill, no sorry, Waters Renew. I gather this Dahan into here. I guess rather gather this possibly. Downgrading this Explorer. I replace this with a town. Oh sorry, this town with a Dahan. I defend another 3. I add another beast. And actually I could replace the city. What if I did that instead? I think it would be even better, right? Let me think about this. Currently they're attacking for 9 and I'm defending by 8, right? So I wouldn't even need Roiling Bog and Snagging Thorn, which means I could use it on here to prevent the towns from spawning. I mean, the land 7 town spawns anyway, but yeah, why not? Do that. So that is Roiling Bog and Snagging Thorn on land 4. That is 8 defend on that land. Let's just pull that blight into here just to be sure. That was all of my quick, and we are going into event. The Badlands beasts were not relevant, but I mean, was to be expected, right? I guess I'd rather pull it into land 4 than in land 3. Local Dysphoria is out, so I'm not forced to push a town into here with local Dysphoria, but maybe there's another card that forces me to do that. Let's flip it. I'm still healthy. Add a town to a land with town. I guess we're choosing land 4 because it's isolated. Sand Fever Outbreak. I get to add a disease to the Sansa Mountain with the most invaders. It's land 2. I guess the most buildings, but who cares? And I gain energy again for having at least 2 Dahan among my lands. Yeah, I did also get energy from Dahan before, so that is another reason why I can afford this whole memery here. Alright, let's Ravage. This doesn't do anything. Land 2. It has 9 damage and defend 8, so I get to do counterattack damage. Killing, say, these. There's an argument to be made not to kill the city, right? Because they're building right after. Yeah, let's just kill 3 towns. Killing 3 towns. And this land doesn't ravage and also doesn't have any adjacent towns. This land does not ravage, but it has an adjacent town here, so it spawns a town. My pocket, oh no. And then I build in coastal, disease. And we have wetlands. Oh, those were the wrong hotkeys. I swear I'm not Blighted Island just yet. I have to add a town. I'd like to add it here, right? That seems like the right move. And then I'm in slow. I use Unrelenting Growth for the last two of my... I guess edit, I don't know. Here. Then every land on the board except land 3 is in range 1 of a sacred site. That works for me. Also adds elements that I don't need. But I'm now... You win the game when you get through your whole track, right? That is in the rules. That is not just my version, right? Wreck with Pain and Grief. 2 fear. Push all of the stuff into land 8. Sweat and Spell. 1 fear. Push these 2 into here. Push this into here. Push this into here, downgrading that town. Then everything in here is downgraded for the last threshold of Silence Spell. I did add my fear, right? Not that it matters much. So 1 town will remain and I add 3 explorers. Okay, I can do that. What a meme game. And that is basically my entire slow, right? But I guess it's good enough. Time passes. We just win here, right? Oh, I'm not there at level 2 yet. Man, that is the Serene experience. I need 4 more fear for that. I could... The next time I get fears in counter-attacker. I mean, Roiling Bog, I guess, also has fear. But whatever, let's reclaim. You know what? There's no reason not to draw a major. Thank you for your service, Unrelenting Growth. They are no longer required. This is 1 fear. But at least it's quick. Can I kill all the explorers in quick? Probably not, right? I just cannot interact with these at all. Unless I use Waters Renew again on explorers. I guess they're going to come after my Spirit Island license if I do that again. 1's acceptable by 2. I can just hit the threshold of that, right? And then I remove that fear card. Yeah, that seems easy. What am I even doing? I just have to have the energy for that. I have 8 energy. I need 3 energy left for doing that. So... And to remove all the cities, towns. That seems possible. So, thank you, Unrelenting Growth, for your service. Your sacrifice will not be forgotten. Play that, and then just... I need 3 energy left, so play 2 0 cards. Hit all the innards that I need. Honestly, more than I need. Especially hit this threshold. Alright, then draw to the water's edge. We draw this into land 6, downgrading it into that. Then Plague Ship sail to distant ports. No, let's start with Waters Renew on land. Actually, let's just do Plague Ships. On land 2. 1 fear, 3 damage. Kill that town, kill that explorer. And then I get to spend 3 energy to remove the last fear card from the game. Oh, it doesn't do that automatically. Well, now then. Turn 7 fast, pretty nice, right? Alright, good game. Thinking back about the game real quick. How does it compare to Roiling and how does it feel generally speaking? It felt pretty good, honestly. I stayed healthy. I only took 1 Ravage in land 2. That was mostly due to drafting defense. I saw defend for I saw sap the strength of multitudes and didn't even have to play it until turn 4 or something. I got Roiling Bog and Snagging Thorn, which solved land 8, which was my first real ravage. The second Explorer thing was... I'm not even sure. Sands? No, Mountain. Land 7 was truly solved, land 2 was the one ravage I took. Yeah, the game just felt too easy. Nah, but pretty easy. I got a lot of energy from my events. I guess events, generally speaking, were not bad this game. Maybe even net positive, I'm not sure. And then, I mean, Memery with Unrelenting Growth was fun. But that was mostly due to the game going really well before that, even. That I could even afford to try that. Yeah, I don't know. My takeaway from this game is mostly that Sap the Strength of Multitudes is a really good card. It can be played in both variants, of course, in Serene and in Roiling, but it's really strong. And it's nice to have a little bit of medium defend to defend these kind of lands. One town, one explorer, two Dahan. Takes care of itself, but if you defend it, then you don't take a Blight Rage. Yeah. Not sure what else there's to say. Would the game have played better in Roiling? Probably. Would have been as good as well, yeah. But hard to say. Yeah. That's it, I guess. GG.